Hello, lovely people of the internet. Brian here from NintendoEverything.com, and I'm here with Daan to talk about the latest Nintendo news. How's it going?
Oh hey, hi. I don't know where I've been for the last 4 weeks. Oh hey.
I was just gonna say, it's been a while since you were
Yeah,
here.
it has been 4 weeks. I mean, I've been 3 weeks on holiday, and then a week after I've been sick. So basically, that has been my month.
Well, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
So there wasn't a massive amount of news this week, mainly because we're kind of in that post-E3 lull where all the announcements have been made, at least the big ones. Or, well, actually, there were still a couple
Yeah.
announcements to talk about, but we are kind of past that big rush of E3 news. But one of the bigger topics making the rounds this week is Nintendo's handling of Devil's Third. And I just wanted to talk about this a tiny bit because, again, it is something that a lot of people have opinions about, and it's just a big news story that's come up lately. So
Mhm.
let's just talk about this a little bit of the backstory. So obviously, Devil's Third was announced many years ago, and at that time, THQ was handling the game. And we all know
Yeah.
what happened to THQ. They closed down, and Devil's Third kind of just went bye-bye for a little while. And then we found
Mhm.
out at last year's E3 that Nintendo had picked up the game, and they didn't really show it heavily because I think it was like passed off to IGN or someone else to kind of like re-reveal it as a Wii U game, but it was still at E3 last year. And
Mhm.
then we didn't really hear about it again until I want to say like a couple weeks before E3 when Nintendo randomly put up a new video of the game on its Japanese YouTube page and then announced that it was coming out in August in Japan. And then we heard just I think a day later that it was also coming out in August in Europe. So that was pretty much it.
Not
And
even, not
it
even,
didn't
not even a day later. Like 12 hours later.
Yeah, so it was pretty quick, and we didn't hear anything from Nintendo of America. They had nothing to
Mhm.
say about it at all, and it wasn't at this year's E3. So that's been kind of like people have been wondering what's been going on with it here in North America.
Mhm.
So this is all culminating with a new report that was published by Liam Robertson from Unseen64, and he kind of talked about how basically it's not looking like Nintendo's publishing the game here, and yeah, there was also a follow-up report from Siliconera today saying that it looks like another publisher has picked up the game. So it does at least look like it is going to come to North America after all. So that's
Mhm.
basically the lowdown on that.
Yeah, it's pretty much a given that it would come to North America in some capacity, considering there will probably likely be a bunch of people that still want to play it. Um,
Yeah,
but I was honestly expecting it to be an only just an eShop release only, maybe by Valhalla themselves. So if it's still coming to retail, that's the best possible outcome for them. Um,
yeah.
but
Do you have any?
the Yeah, it's here's what I'm thinking. It's probably Xseed who's publishing this.
That's what I was just going to talk about. I was wondering if it could be XE, just because
Yeah,
Nintendo
but
kind of
who
gave
but
them
who else would it be? Here's the thing.
NIS America.
This America wouldn't pick that one up.
Yeah,
I
although they
mean,
are doing.
no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Look
I feel
look
like it
look
has to
at
be XE.
looking at the slate of titles that each of these companies releases, I think Xseed makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I don't think it's coming out next month.
No, no, I don't think so either. Um, I don't know when, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see when the actual announcement is made because, yeah, again, we did have a report today that another publisher has picked the game up, so at least those who want to play it will get the chance to do so, it seems like.
It does, yeah.
Alright, so that was just kind of a little bit on Devil's Third. You may have more to say about that in the near future, but I think we'll end the conversation about Devil's Third for there.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Alright, so we can move on to another game, and this was a new announcement. And I think it was something that people kind of expected at this point, given previous teases and things like that. And what I'm talking about is Zero Escape 3.
Yeah, Zero Escape 3 is a thing now, which is fantastic. I love this franchise to death. The last two games were brilliant on DS and 3DS. They didn't sell amazingly well. That's the
Yeah.
only knock against it. But the scenarios that those games were given by its writer, and the amount of care that were put in these visual novels with a lot of dark twists, they were just simply amazing. And I still think they're some of the best handheld games I've played in a while.
Yeah, I mean, those who play the games really love them, and it's always reviewed well. So, they just have to find some way to get a little bit more sales out of those titles.
Yeah, I really hope that they have a, a reasonable expectations for this third game. That's all I'm really hoping for. Because they kind of tried big with the second one. Like the first one sold decent enough, but they kind of kept their expectations in check. The second one was kind of overblown to the point where too many copies were printed of that game, and it's
Mm.
still easy to find it now for very on the cheap. Um, so my only hope is that they know what they are doing.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I will say is that, at least from my perspective, I feel like there's been a little more fan support surrounding this game for some reason.
Yeah, well, there has been a good movement for it. Like people who have been clamoring for it at the game's writer. They've been really sorry. Let me do that sentence again. Uh, well, they've been like many of the fans have been going to. Wow, sorry.
It's
I need
alright.
to I need to take a drink there. Hold up. Hmm. Okay. But yet, many of the fans have been going to the writer's Facebook, trying to say from, "Hey, we still want this game to happen." A whole movement was set up, so definitely there has been a lot more support for this game this time around, and all the fans who like it have been actually really vocal about it, to the point where the game's writer also had to make an English-specific Twitter account, which is now more popular than his Japanese one overall.
Yeah,
Which
yeah, I remember
which
him saying that.
which is sort of insane. But it shows that when everybody comes together and backs something that they love, even if it's a small focal group, it's still possible that something like it could happen. And it shows. Like Zero 3 is now announced; it's coming. Um, we'll have to wait a little while before we know actually something about it. Um, but it's a good thing, and also a pretty big victory for those fans that they got something they really wanted.
Yeah, and they put up, I think it was like a limited edition watch kind of thing to go along with the base game on Amazon, and that like sold out pretty quickly. So maybe that's at least one kind of sign that it might do well.
Hopefully, yeah.
But yeah, that game is coming out in summer 2016, so it's quite a while away.
By the way, this is just a stupid little side note. If you want to see what the writer has been doing between uh 02 and now 03, he did an anime called Punchline, which is fantastic, which I watched during my sick week. Um,
Hmm,
it's only like 12 episodes, but it's amazing. It's crazy over the top.
that's interesting.
It's
So
on
yeah, I
Crunchyroll.
guess.
It's Crunchyroll, so you can watch it on your Wii U. There you go.
That's right, because you can get that app right on the eShop.
Yep.
All right, we can move on to another kind of strange announcement, if you can call it that. And all right, I might as well give this a little bit of backstory. So basically,
Hmm.
I think I'm getting his name right. Yuji Horii was at the Japan Expo in France last week, and he was doing this little event, I guess, for the fans. And towards the very end of it, he basically indicated that he will slash he wants to slash these games will be released in French, and I'm talking about the Dragon Quest VII and VIII remakes for 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole situation kind of struck me as strange. A, because it doesn't sound like he was supposed to make that announcement, because like his translator was kind of like shocked that he was talking about it and said like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to announce that or whatever." But there's been a lot of people clamoring for the Dragon Quest RPGs to be released here, and so far Square Enix hasn't really delivered on that front. So, kind of interesting seeing him making that announcement. And obviously, we haven't heard anything.
Here's the thing. I think he knows, and yes, he wasn't supposed to talk about it, but I think he knows because of the following. Like, even with Bravely Default, that localization was not done by Nintendo of Europe. It was done by a European house, which I can't exactly remember the name of, but they usually do all the Square Enix games in Europe. And they have also instant contact with those developers. So it seems like that team is probably now working on Dragon Quest 7 and 8.
That would be good. Like, technically, we haven't received an official announcement yet, but it's weird because at the same time, technically, we do have confirmation in a way that they are coming west. So it's like a weird kind of situation that we're in.
Yeah, Japan Expo is usually bound to have some crazy stuff happen, which eventually just totally turn out to be true. Like, if you look back, like the Level 5 CEO mentioned that Professor Layton vs. Phoenix Wright would be coming before that even that official announcement was made back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Japan Expo is known to have some few shocks there, mostly because, like if you go to the Japan Expo, you only meet people there who are really into Japanese games. Like I know a lot of people also outside of friends who go there, even though that part of the audience is a lot smaller. But I still want to go to the Japan Expo someday, but it wasn't really in the cards. It's just after my travels. So it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go this year, but it probably would have been wiser to actually go because I would have seen like Sakaguchi, the co-director of Splatoon, and of course this stuff. And it still really interests me how much attention and care Nintendo of Europe puts towards the Japan Expo. Because every single year, it seems like the event where most of Nintendo or NCL people go to any event in Europe.
Yeah, it's definitely very cool.
So yeah.
Alright, so just getting back to the games themselves for a minute, I just really hope we do get to see them here in the West. Just because, I played Dragon Quest IX, I really liked that. And then I played, I think it was 5, and I really loved that one. So, obviously Dragon Quest VIII was received very well back in the day when it came out, and getting Dragon Quest VII would also be really good. So, just hope that it happens.
It likely will. I'm not gonna doubt it, but I'm still sort of bitter about the loss of the games before. Like, no Dragon Quest Monsters, or Dragon Quest Wonderland, not Rocket Slime, not those games, solely just the mainstay Dragon Quest games. Which, I don't know, I'm sort of bitter about, but at the same time, I kind of accept at this stage. I kind of accept anything Dragon Quest related stuff in English at this stage.
Right. Like, I was kind of surprised that they were bringing over Dragon Quest Heroes for the PS4, but then we kind of heard this interview recently where, maybe it was the Dragon Quest, like, series producer or someone like that, but basically saying that they're trying to gauge people's interest of the series by, seeing how many people pick up that game. And he was kind of like saying, oh, maybe if that one sells well, we could bring over some of the older Dragon Quest games, kind of like hinting more at the localization of 7 and 8 again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with all of that.
True.
Alright, we can talk about one more game, which I actually don't have too much to say on just because I'm not familiar with the series, but I thought it was an interesting announcement. And that is the Gravity Falls Legend of the Gnome Gemulets for 3DS. And again, I don't really have much experience with the Gravity Falls series. I think it's been pretty well received, but I thought it was interesting because A, it's a 3DS exclusive, and B, it's being made with the UbiArt engine, which is the same engine that Rayman Legends, I think, was made in, and Rayman Origins, so
yeah,
that seemed pretty cool.
I'm surprised that Ubisoft is making a 3DS game at all.
Yeah, that is very surprising, and I don't think Rayman Origins, which again was built in that engine, ran very well on 3DS. So
No, but it was also not natively created for 3DS. We have to remind ourselves of that.
that's true.
It was basically just a bit of a rush port. Like, I wouldn't say it's bad, just the frame rate was really shaky on that one.
Yeah, but we got like a teaser trailer thing for this, and it looked alright. And yeah, they're partnering with Disney Interactive, I think, and I think the show's creator is a little bit on board for like the art and maybe I don't know, just input in general. So there's some hope for this one.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, obviously have to be careful when like talking about licensed games because usually they're not very good, but maybe this one will surprise us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really pretty much it. This is a little bit on the shorter side for us, but again, not too much news coming out of E3.
Yep, it's basically a really, really shallow week.
Yeah, kind of get those sometimes in the summer where everyone's out, not many games releasing, so yeah, that just kind of comes with the times.
Yeah, I mean, there's still stuff coming out, but I don't think it's necessarily of interest to the rest at this stage.
Yeah. At least Splatoon's still getting updated with content.
I mean, Mario Tennis is now out on the Virtual Console, so get on that.
That's true.
Or the Epic Indie Sale.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's a big indie sale going on at the eShop right now in both North America and Europe, where if you have like one,
I think we should talk about that. Yeah, I mean,
all right, we can talk about that briefly.
Yeah. So the Epic Indie Sale, which runs from July 9th to the 23rd, if you own one of 14 titles, you get the rest for a 60% discount, which is fantastic. If you don't own one of them, you barely own anything on Wii U, which I don't know why that would be the case, but okay, I will give you that. You could still buy one of the Edge or Rush, which are $1 or €1.99, and get the rest again for 60% discount. So the games included are Janaya Sister Twisted Dreams, Guacamelee, Swords and Soldiers, Spin the Bottle Bumpy's Party, Rush, Edge, Tokitori, Tokitori 2 Plus, 1 or 2, Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition, Mighty Switch Force 2, Shantae and the Pirate Scores, Trine Enchanted Edition, and Trine 2 Director's Cut.
It's a very good lineup.
It is! Yeah, definitely.
Those are all like really good games in one way or another, so you're not really doing any wrong by buying any of them.
Yeah, I mean, these deals are fantastic. Like, for example, Shantae and the Pirate Scores is now $8 if you make use of that deal. I think it's never been that cheap.
Yeah, I don't think so either, so that's a very good deal.
Yeah. And like Janaya 1 or 2 and Guacamelee are for $5.99, so I would make use of this deal. I mean, if you buy all of these games, considering you have nothing of them, and you buy one of them for $1.99, you would still get the rest of these games for roughly, I would say, $30.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a perfect package to get yourself started with the Nintendo eShop finally.
Again, these are all really good games in one way or another, so just look them up, see what they're all about, and maybe you'll be interested in a few of them.
Well, I do want to mention one deal that is not part of this indie sale because it's on 3DS, but I really want people to check it out. And that is Hazumi. That's a puzzle game that I really, really love on 3DS. It's now only $1.99. That game really tanked hard, but I still think it's one of the most charming puzzlers on 3DS.
I think I actually bought that. I just haven't played it yet.
People should really pick that one up, especially at that price.
It looked pretty good to me from what I saw, so yeah, I definitely think I have that one.
That's good. I don't have to regret you then.
Yeah, I have to get around to buying that.
But those are your things that you need to do, considering this summer period doesn't have many games in it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check out that sale, guys, because lots of good games to be had there.
Yeah. Or check out like the one of the 7 Wii U eShop games that released this week.
Oh yeah, there was a lot.
Which most of them are not really that great.
Yeah.
Except for Landed Rocket, which is kind of decent.
Yeah. All right, so.
But yeah, there you go.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna sign off for now. We've pretty much talked about all the big Nintendo news of the week. So, yeah, I think that's it for today, and we will try and talk to you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.